It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African-American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And now, here's the host, the publisher of the award-winning Florida Star, Clara McLaughlin.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Impact. And we have our dear Congresswoman Corrine Brown and, of course, the attorney, Opio
Good evening.
Sokoni, who's also the general manager for the Florida Star.
And I'm sitting here with two beautiful, strong black women. I'm lucky.
Well, thank you. Okay, but with so much going on, we had to have you here tonight.
Oh, I wanted to be here.
Okay, so we can start off by saying we're on your side.
Right.
I really appreciate the prayers that I've gotten and the support that I've gotten from the community in every segment. I just returned from Cincinnati.
Right.
And I was the keynote speaker at the NAACP Veterans Luncheon. Mm-hmm. And if people came up to me, not from Florida, and said, we are praying for you.
Man.
And so that is amazing, but it was a wonderful program. We gave the Jesse Brown Award. And of course, Jesse Brown was the secretary that I served under. The first VA secretary, Bill Clinton, appointed him in 1992. And he served several years there, and he really began the change positive for VA. And his motto was putting veterans first. And that's what we need to continue to do. Put veterans first.
And we're proud that you are leading that.
Yes.
I can say you're leading it. I'm looking at my finger. I went to VA yesterday, and this is what they put on my finger because it was hurting me. Okay, and it has been paining me today.
Okay. Well,
And Clara used to be in the Navy.
I was in the Navy.
Right.
Yes.
Well, see, now, I did not know that.
Really? Well.
Oh, all right. And see, that is another thing. Women have made such a contribution, and people don't know about the women contribution.
Right.
And people talk about the fact that out of let's say 22 veterans a day commit suicide, now it's 20. However, the fastest growing group is women veterans.
Really?
Because they don't feel a part of the system, and we've got to get them in.
Right, well.
And the Women Memorial, they came to me and told me that they were going to close because they didn't have any funds. And we don't do earmarks anymore. I said, we will not close under my watch. As the ranking member of Veterans Affairs, I work with Congressman Crenshaw, my counterpart.
For Florida, yeah.
Well, yeah, and the House leadership, the Speaker, and the ranking member. And we have a women's group that's Democrats and Republicans, and we was able to get the $5 million for them. I said it will not close under my watch.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Because it's so important that women understand the contribution that you all have made.
Well, you know what? I wanted to go to college, and my parents didn't have the money, so I joined the Navy so I can go to college.
That's wonderful.
And the whole time I was in, I played the organ for Mass. Every Sunday morning, I worked for the chaplains, for the priests most of all, and I played the organ every Sunday morning, and that was it.
The proudest thing that I've ever done, one of them, was that I got the Moffett Point Marines, the gold medal.
Absolutely.
And that is so wonderful because so many of those Marines, they did so much. And all of the other branches, the nation honored them, but they had not honored the Marines.
Right.
It was the last group of soldiers that got honored. And I was happy to lead the charge. And I tell you, the commander came to me and he says, Corrine, I got to tell you something. He said, you should have been a Marine. And that's the nicest thing that anybody ever said to me. I guess I'm a drill sergeant.
you get it done. And you haven't stopped getting it done. That's why we were here with you tonight.
Thank you.
Because they say Corrine delivers, that means she gets it done.
Well, I read an article in the Times Union, and they said, well, who does she get it done for? Well, I said, well, that's interesting.
They know better than that.
Yeah, no, but I actually said that. Well, do we get it done for the veterans?
Right.
Yeah.
I get medical care.
Yeah, Medicare. Yes, absolutely. And making sure that in Jacksonville we have a veteran cemetery. And I decided that I wanted to get that cemetery. I decided. So in order to get it, it's formula driven. So the first thing I had to do was double the cemetery in Bushnell, and we got that done. Then you had to go to Miami. Well, Miami don't have the space for a cemetery, so we did it in West Palm. Then I could get the cemetery in Jacksonville. And now we're getting the cemetery in Tallahassee, my new area. Yes, I went to the dedication of that. We have the best clinic in Jacksonville.
That's right.
In the country.
Really?
I say it's a step down hospital. And then, of course, the hospital in Orlando is one of the best ones in the country.
Wow.
And I said, the bill in that hospital, it took 25 years, and it was like birthing a baby. Because, I mean, it was so many problems with the VA and the contractors, and I mean, it went on for a long time, but now it is state of the art.
It is.
And of course, I'll never forget when I went down to Gainesville, and I went to one of the football games. You know, I love Gators. But I always try to do a little work while I'm working and having a little fun. So I went to visit the veterans when I was there.
It's a big hospital.
A big hospital. It's it had been an old hospital, and the veterans in that hospital had to go to the end of the hall in order to take a shower and use the bathroom. Now that doesn't happen in any hospital, and now it doesn't happen in that hospital. I got a wraparound, so every last room is a suite. That's a Corrine Brown initiative.
Amen.
Now, one of the things that those of us who are looking at all these things that's happening to you, they're talking about children that are getting scholarships. And you can pick up a newspaper with Florida Star, a number of issues, and see these large number of students that are getting this money because of you. Have gotten this money because of you. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the point is, I can only talk about what I've done.
Right.
And, you know, I like the Negro spiritual. Let the work I've done speak for me.
That's right. That's
yes,
right.
let the work I've done speak for me. I sent 20 plus kids to China.
Right.
Free.
Man.
They went to China. The only thing they had to have was their passports. I paid for their airline ticket. I paid for their visas, their insurance, and once they got to China, the Chinese government paid for everything else.
Man.
They went to 3 cities, and guess what? They did something I've never done. They rode the high-speed train in China.
I wouldn't have done it.
Oh, I would have. Oh, God.
What, 200 miles an hour or something like that?
Yes. Oh, goodness, that's so exciting. Yes, they did. And here's a picture of these kids. And so they went to China, and I talked.
That's on the current issue of the Florida Star. That's on the newsstands today. Of course, there's going to be a new issue tomorrow, so you got to go pick it up tonight.
Yeah. So these kids went to China, but in addition to that, the Congressional Black Caucus have been operating for over 40 years, and many people in the communities have come to the banquet. Well, but the point is, during the day we have our workshops, and I have hosted over 50 kids that have gotten Congressional Black Caucus scholarships.
That's right.
And in fact, I've got an office full of them as we speak, because I always. And some of the people that's gotten this scholarship is Chris Chestnut.
Right, I know that.
You know that, yeah, that's right, from Gainesville. But the point is, I've been doing this since day one. That I've had these scholarships. I also have the Arts Festival. You know, where we have the competition, and the winner gets to go to Washington, and the airline sponsored them 2 people to come up, and they spend the weekend. I help with the hotel, and their painting hangs in the Capitol for a year.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. So those are some of the things that I've done. But one of the things that was very disturbing was the PLUS loan, because we lost 50,000 black kids from higher education. And I led the fight with the Congressional Black Caucus and Cedric Richardson. He was the good guy. I was the bad one. You know, the good cop and the bad. I was the bad cop. I was the bad cop. Because it was unacceptable to me that we lost 50,000 kids because of their parents' financial situation. So if your parent was behind on a loan, then they cut the financial aid to the student.
Really?
That's you can go on my website and pull it up. It's the PLUS loan, and so it took us 2 years to get that straight. And I'll never forget, I saw in the paper that where one student was a junior or something at Spelman. She had dropped out and was working full time at a Chinese restaurant. I said, now that's not what I want for my kids, you know. And so we were able to get that reinstated. And we had to go to the rulemaking process, and it took time, but we got it done because failure was not an option.
Right.
I said, on my watch, this is not going to happen.
And we're going to let it stay your watch. I want people to understand,
you know,
got to stay
someone has said that Corrine won't win her election. Now, with the foolishness going on, I will not win unless people go out and vote.
Absolutely.
Now, and the point of the matter is, I was going through, and I was at the convention, the NAACP, and a young lady came up to me all excited. She said, I've changed my party so I could vote against Angela Curry. I said, well, what do you mean? She said, and she was a Democrat, and she switched to the Republican Party so she could vote for Angela Curry. I said, do you understand you won't be voting for me? Do you understand? Her eyes got as big. I said, you can't vote in the Democratic primary if you're not a Democrat. And I said, I need your vote. I mean, we've known for 4 years if you want to run somebody, then you should run them. In Florida, we have a closed primary. So we have several candidates on the ballot, and Corrine Brown is the first one. But we have House races, and the legislators tell the state attorneys what to do. And so we have we have 2 House races in Jacksonville. In addition to that, we got school board races. So I found out it was 108 people. African Americans, blacks have changed. I'm sending them a letter. They'll get it tomorrow. I want them to know that. Do they know that they can't vote for me?
And it looks like that doesn't even have to happen because the Republicans that Angela Corey loves so much, it seems like they've gone for Nelson at this point. And so you don't need blacks to do that, it looks like. But you're right, we mentioned that in the paper. For those people who wanted to switch over party, you have some other things that you have to think about. Corrine Brown is running, right, and these other races.
Yeah, and you can't vote in the Democratic primary. We have a closed primary. So if you're not a Democrat, you can't vote in the Democratic primary. But you know,
they're not changing their parties over in Tallahassee.
No, listen, I don't want no hanky-panky in no election. If you want to run for the state attorney, run for it. The Democrats should have had a candidate. Period. That's right.
I don't know why we didn't get one.
That's right. We should have had a candidate.
We got organizations of black people that are lawyers.
That's right.
Why can't we?
We should have had a candidate. You know, for 4 years, we have very qualified, smart, black lawyers. Or it could have been a white lawyer, just as long as it was a Democrat or an independent. If you was an independent, then everybody get the vote in that race also. But you didn't put up a candidate as a Democrat or independent, and you talking about switching And that means that you will not vote for the other Democrats that's so important.
Right.
As I said at that meeting, let me tell you something. People have told me in the past, I go in and I vote for you and I walk out. I said, no, it's a team effort.
Right.
You need people on the city council. You need people on the state reps. You need to make sure when we have judges that you're voting for the judges, because they can have influence over what happens with the attorney, making sure that we have proper representation. So we need to be a team, and everybody needs to do their part.
Right.
Looks like we're gonna have to go to a break, but when we come back, let's talk about Dr. Martin Luther King and how he was hounded by the federal government through investigations, the same way that's going on with Corrine Brown right now.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and come back.
Do you know what media received the first Eagle Award by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for being the most factual? The Florida Star. Do you know which media solely addresses issues of concern for African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know which media carries local, state, national, and international news regarding African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know the only media that carries a special section for our youth?
Dr. Brown.
Many hats.
Television networks. Now you know the Florida Star. Northeast Florida's largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper, serving since 1951 in more than 200 locations. The Florida Star. News you can use. News you can trust. The People's Choice. Striving to make a difference. Subscribe today. Call 766-8834. That's 766-8834. Pick up the Florida Star at over 200 locations. Or to have it delivered, call 766-8834. The Florida Star. Speaking truth to power.
Yes.
Okay. We're coming back with discussing voting. And I want to remind you that if you have not received your new voter registration card within the next couple of weeks, call the supervisor of the election office and get one, because they are sending out new cards, okay? And because if you want to vote in the primary, you got to have a new card, okay? I talked with them about it, and if you don't have it in Florida, call 630-1414. In Georgia, 912-554-7063, and tell them you need your card. I'll go get it.
But, I want to thank both of you all for what you all do to the community as far as educating the community about issues. It's very sad that you live in a community and it is closed as far as if you don't have a way to communicate, if you don't have a way to get out your message, then any message will do.
That's right.
And so the key is that we've got to support the Florida Star and other papers, but Florida Star is my number one. But the key is you got to be able to tell your story.
Right.
I wonder how in the past, the reason why people know more about the shootings and what's going on is because we all now are mini reporters.
That's right.
We all,
Thank goodness.
Everybody is things have been going on in the past.
Everybody has a camera now.
Everybody has a camera.
Right.
And so you're on stage at all times. And so I have what is it, this website?
Right, Facebook.
Facebook, yes. So I was on Facebook, and I don't know that much about it, but I know I was on, and I was talking about Martin Luther King and how the federal government hounded him.
A lot of people don't know that, but they were incessant about it.
Absolutely, and taped him and followed him and harassed him.
The way they've done you over the years.
Absolutely, the way they've done me over the years, and listened to his phone calls and everything. It is amazing to me.
On them.
Oh, it is amazing to me. And so it's just a nightmare.
Right.
It is an absolute nightmare. I'm very friendly with Martin Luther King's son, and of course he will be coming here during the campaign.
Right.
And he does so. I remember once I'm in the backwoods of Mississippi. He in the backwoods of Mississippi, helping people with foreclosures, because I am the only member of Congress that traveled around the country helping people stay in their homes. And I was telling someone, I said, the major source of the wealth in black community is their homes. They said, Corrine, that's all the community white too. So everybody, the major source of wealth is their home.
Right.
And when we were losing those homes, we had to do something about it. And so I work with NAFTA and the president, Bruce Mark, who is coming here also and is interested in opening up an office here in Jacksonville. Help people. They've got a new mortgage, 15-year mortgage, which I think is exciting. Because, most of us have that 30-year mortgage, but they have a new 15-year mortgage.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to come during the campaign. Well, it won't be campaign, it'll be legislative stuff. But he'll be here in the next month to tell people about the 15-year mortgage, which is exciting.
Right.
There's a movement right now where, because of all the things that are going on with Black Lives Matter, and people begin thinking about putting money.
What does that Black Lives Matter mean? Because some people don't like that.
They don't like black part of it.
They don't like lives matter.
The black word is what they don't like. Now, if you say blue lives matter, or if you say all lives matter, or you can say dogs lives matter, they all for it. It's the only when they say black lives matter that we have a problem. That's the only one. It's really interesting. But a number of people are joining black banks now. Have you heard about that? And trying to figure out, and credit unions, and trying to figure out how they can leverage black wealth and power. Talk a little bit about the importance of black banks, if there's any importance at all.
Well, we used to have one here.
I think there's one here, but it's only for like a teachers union or something like that.
Yeah, that's real old. I think it's a credit union.
Right.
That's
Only for
really old.
teachers.
Yeah. But I've got to tell you, when the federal government said that all of the checks had to be deposited, because you remember how people were being, it was so much cheaper for the federal government to send your retirement check or your Social Security check to a bank. And then they were waiting the first of the month. People was attacking them and everything. And so one of the things the banks worked out, not the banks, I'm sorry, the credit union worked out so people could make those deposits without charge, working with us. And that's very good. But listen, wealth is just that. And if we don't find a way to harness our wealth and to leverage our wealth to make a difference in our communities. As we were talking about it earlier, the reason why I love Orlando is because all of those independent agencies there, whether you're talking about the electric authority, the transportation authority, the port authority, the airport authority, when they do projects, they understand the importance of making sure there is minority participation.
Right.
We're talking about black participation, Hispanic participation, women participation, and I think that's important. I think it's very important that we all get a chance to participate in what I call my grandmama's sweet potato pie. We all contribute to the ingredients. That's our taxes. So we all should be able to get a share.
That's right.
A slice. You still got the whole pie.
Right.
Goodness.
Because we're fighting for 15% of the pie, but they want the 15% too.
They want the whole pie.
No,
The whole
it's
pie.
not even 15, it's 10.
Right.
In
They want
law,
that.
in transportation, it's 10. And they want it all. Why? You still have the whole pie. And if you participate, let's say if you had a contract, then you would train young people. You would give them jobs.
That's right.
And so that's economic development in the community. And that is the key. You would give jobs, co-ops, and opportunities for young people.
Right.
What's the difference? What's going to be the difference between North-South in your leadership and East-West? Is there going to be something different that you will do as the Congresswoman of the new district that you didn't do or couldn't do in the other one, or is there going to be a difference at all?
I'm the same person.
Because you got Lando versus Tallahassee.
It's no comparison. Let's don't try. don't make me cry. Oh God! Don't make me cry.
My wife never said, "Let's go to Tallahassee." She always goes, "Let's go to Orlando."
I wonder why. It's so much life and energy bougie.
Yes.
Yes, but
It's international.
Oh, it is international. It's it's the #1 tourist destination in the world.
That's
Right.
true.
The #1 tourist destination in the world.
Right.
And of course, I was fighting to make sure that we got the additional resources we need for the airport. The dogs, I got 2 dogs and the other 2 in school. I mean, it's just, those are the kinds of things.
He makes sure it gets done.
Yeah,
Right,
make sure
right.
it gets done. And then of course,
But you got these
Sanford-
prisons now. You got all these
All
prisons
those
in there
prisons.
that you're gonna have to deal
They
with.
can't vote.
Yeah, they can't vote. But I've worked so hard to keep people out of prison. But education is still the key.
Right.
And so there are some things that I've worked already. When I said FAMU, I'm a Florida A&M graduate. And so when I went to Congress, the first thing I was able to do was to get them a NASA grant.
Wow.
And they got $5 million a year for
Man.
several years. In addition to that, we just gave the largest land grant in the history of the United States to Florida A&M University.
Yeah, I saw
Yes,
that.
the largest. Yes, that's right.
We got another FAMU
Yeah.
person in here.
Well, we have a FAMU.
2 Howard and 2 FAMU.
So anyway, just the largest land grant ever under President Barack Obama
Right.
in the history of the United States. We just gave it to Florida A&M University
That's
to
right.
develop
I sent that in for the paper this week. Okay.
4,000
nice,
acres.
nice.
4,000 acres. So I am very excited, and it's an opportunity that they can develop it, and it's right by the National Cemetery in Bushdale. And it's a property already there. So it's a great opportunity for Florida A&M University to expand.
Right.
Now I know
It
you've
really
been looking at some of the what's going on in the RNC and Michelle Obama. It looks like Trump's wife liked the speech better than.
Well, you know what? The thing about it, I really get disturbed with this because her writer is saying that she wrote the speech and she's sorry, but she didn't get fired. I mean, she didn't write the speech, she got paid
Yep.
to stay on board, okay? Otherwise, she wouldn't be out there telling people. That's Clara's philosophy.
Right.
Well, I've been watching them, and I'm looking forward to going to the Democratic convention next week and participating. And this election,
In DC, are you a star in DC?
a star.
Yes, she is.
No.
Yes, you are. I've been in DC. I went to law school in DC. You are a star. I want to know, do you know that you are a star in DC?
No.
Yes, sure. You know they call her, right? They call her the Queen of the South.
They do say queen.
Am I lying?
But yeah,
They call
no,
her
they do.
Queen of the South.
Right.
Listen, but do you know what I am? I am a Hebrew slave. My queen. Listen, the doctors used to be on call 24/7.
Right.
I'm on call 24/7.
Right,
So I work
right.
all the time, and and listen, I really do believe that when you're born, you get a birth certificate. I say that all the time, and when you die, you're going to get a death certificate.
Right.
And that little dash in between is what you've done to make this a better place.
Absolutely.
I could be doing a lot of additional things, but I am there, I'm in the room, and I know why I'm in the room.
Right.
Because if you don't know why you're in the room, you're just in there because you think you're so great or you're so
Right.
grand.
That's right.
You're in the room because you can help people. You can make a difference.
Okay, I want to remind people to vote, to register to vote by
That's right.
August 1st.
Yes.
And vote on August 30th.
And
be a
we're going to
big
have our
election.
campaign headquarters opening next Saturday.
Right, okay.
So we're going to have yard signs and whatever. People can come out and
Okay.
we're going to have hot dogs and music and we're going to do what we always do. But I
You
don't
gonna have fish?
Okay.
fish. And
Yeah.
we're going to have fish.
Make sure you have some
We're
fish.
gonna- we're gonna
I know
have
one
fish.
event you had a whole bunch of fish and crabs.
Okay.
Oh,
I want
was
to
there.
remind you to call. Okay, Pickwick Cardinals to the Florida
Oh,
Star.
listen, you gonna
Okay,
have
and
fish.
more than 200 locations, the Florida Star and Impact.
Oh, yes.
Still the people's choice, striving to make a difference.
Oh, you make a difference.
Thank
you so much.
And we want to thank the Florida Star for another great Florida Star Impact program right here at AM 1360 WCJ.